Hello, welcome to our live stream Friday, where we are going live with you to answer your questions in real time. I'm Allison. I'm the community manager here at Save Me From. We are a hair repair and scalp care treatment collection. And here I have just my besties here with me. As you can tell, these here are really great, potent, concentrated formulas that are really going to help deeply replenish the hair strand. And in today's video, we are going to chat about chemically damaging hair treatments, as well as the color treating chemicals that we might be using on our hair. And every single one of these formulas are really going to help give your hair all of the different nutrients that it so desperately needs, especially when we're color treating our hair. Our hair is really lacking the essential proteins that are necessary for really keeping our hair long, strong, and really just having that really lustrous, healthy appearance. And almost everybody really has hair damage beyond, really what they might be thinking. A lot of frizz and split ends, also just really having unmanageable hair that's really prone to tangles. These are all signs of damaged hair. And so you may not be color treating your hair, but you may style your hair with heat styling or hot tools. And these can cause a multitude of issues for not only the hair, but also for the scalp as well. So in today's video, we're going to talk about really the severity of really a lot of these hair concerns that you might be having, and really how to help combat them as well. Thank you so much, April. Mentioned that she loves the heatless waves. We just did an Amazon tutorial, so if you're curious to learn a little bit more about that, I'll drop that in a description here after this stream, so you can go ahead and check that out if you're curious to learn about how you can really get those classic Hollywood type of glamorous waves. As you can tell, I did it on the stream, so they're not as defined as maybe you might have when they're in for a prolonged period of time, but this is completely done without heat, so zero heat whatsoever was used to accomplish this look. And so with that being said, you can do a lot of different innovative type of styling techniques to really help combat that damage, especially when it comes to that heat damage. The blow drying and heat styling of the hot tools, your curling iron, the hair straightening can also cause some breakage for the hair, in addition to those harsh chemical treatments here as well. So let's go ahead and get into this a little bit further. So once hair is really split, if it's broken off, it's really beyond repair at that point. So we want to be making sure that we limit the ability for that hair to actually end up breaking off and snapping off, because that is really the ultimate, like there is no going back from that. And so we want to be making sure that we're preventing that. So before you go in with your color treatments or your chemicals treatments, whether that is perming the hair or also chemically straightening the hair, we want to be making sure that we are being really careful and really taking that optimal care of our hair by really having more stronger, manageable hair as a result. And so products that are, like a split end type of mender, whether that is like a conditioner or like an added on treatment, they do kind of temporarily kind of help mask that damage so that the hair strand actually appears smoother. It's not, really looking as though it's the ends of the hair are frayed. And so it may end up feeling softer, but it's really not doing anything as a result. So we want to be making sure that we are avoiding the split ends really in the first place. And so that's regularly getting trims, getting our hair cut. So then therefore those split ends are not really traveling up the hair strand. But really that long-term solution is going to be using really concentrated active ingredients in these hair repair treatments, but also really just trimming off some of those damaged areas as like a hair kind of maintenance as well. Also, a lot of textured hair. It's pretty coily, it's pretty thick, very curly. And this hair is more prone to damage. You may be getting a lot of these chemically straightening treatments as well, but the hair being that very curly and very coily can actually make it so that the scalp, the oil that kind of builds up into the scalp does not travel into those deeper layers throughout the hair strand and tends to end up preventing those protective oils from really traveling down the strands. And also this hair is really more prone to a lot of that heat styling as well. So it's really prone to that type of damage. But your most minor type of damage or sign of damage is really going to be dry hair. Your scalp is dry, the ends of your hair dry, especially if the strands feel and they look dry. That is a cue that the cuticle is damaged. And that cuticle is really what is going to help lock in that moisture of the hair. So when that cuticle is damaged, the hair is losing from those deeper layers of the hair, its moisture, its shine, and really ultimately is going to have its strength compromised as well. So the next severity of hair damage is really going to be split ends. As the cuticle gets continuously further damaged or even lost in some cases, especially when the hair is severely damaged, especially when it comes to those chemical treatments, the hair strand can actually start to really look frayed. It'll split into pieces, and on the ends or also in other areas of the hair, it will even start to kind of break off. If you've noticed that some hair breakage, I personally have hair breakage a lot because I color treat my hair. And so this is like an absolute must for me. If I do not use this, then I do not have long hair any longer. So it's really important. Even though my hair is brown and may look healthy, the cuticle has been damaged from a lot of my neglect, especially when it came to heat styling. I was not using a heat protector. So I am actually really on the hair health journey for the long haul because of that. And so the next, we just talked about split ends, about really that severity of damage. But the next sign of severe damage is really when you're experiencing breakage. And this really occurs when the strands, the deeper layer of the hair strands begin to deteriorate because of all of this damage that's not getting really worked on or repaired. You're continuing to do the styling, the mechanical styling, or also the environment. Can also have an impact as well on your hair health. And so this can cause, the breakage is caused by weak spots along that hair strand where the strand actually begins to fracture. So this is like really critical to make sure that we are maintaining the strength of our hair. And so a lot of these chemical type of treatments can actually exacerbate these issues actually even worse, even more so. So hair loss is really going to be that ultimate severity of hair damage. And severe hair damage really just starts to pull on the roots of the hair as well. So that really causes a lot of stress on the scalp. And this can be caused also from a lot of our heat styling as well. And this can actually cause permanent follicle hair loss. But of course, you want to be certainly consulting with a medical provider if your hair loss is getting more severe. So conditioner and treatments are really going to be your damaged hair's best friends. Damaged hair, stripped of its really protective outer layer of the hair cuticle, really needs to be replenished with emollient ingredients as well as nutrients. We also infuse a lot of plant oils into our formulas, as well as plant nutrients from the fenugreek seed. Fenugreek is really rich in proteins as well as vitamins A, B, and C. It also is rich in phospholipids. So this is really great, and as well as fatty acids as well. So this is really great for scalp health as well as the health of the hair as well, by just really replenishing and really helping to nourish the deeper layers of the hair strand that's so desperately needed. And so we actually have these treatments here, 6 different treatments that are all targeting specific sources of hair damage and really what that hair damage depletion of those nutrients that it specifically needs. So these are all independently clinically proven in lab studies to help repair against split ends by 97%, increase hair thickness by 203%, infuse hair with more hydration in just 3 uses by 201%. And that's in an overnight type of application. In just 3 uses, you're going to see such an incredible benefit. And since these are so concentrated, the formulas are formulated with less water, more active ingredients. So you're really getting the good stuff, and you're not paying for diluted watery conditioners or hair products that most hair products are. And these are really just going to help lead to less damage by really just helping to prevent further damage by protecting your hair, but also really making hair more silkier and more manageable as a result. And really the maximum benefit to help prevent the damage is really keeping them in. You're not going to rinse them off, and using them on damp hair when the layers of the hair cuticle is open and the layers of the hair are really able to really get that maximum penetration. And these type of treatments, use them like 1 to 2 times a week. They have higher concentrations of these active ingredients than any other hair care product. And they also have these really great conditioning ingredients. We have the panthenols. We also have oils, hyaluronic acid. We also have silkworm protein infused in every single one of these treatments. And we are cruelty-free as well, although we do have some ingredients derived from animals. It's all sustainably sourced through cruelty-free practices as well. So that is a great part. And then these are so concentrated that you can really dilute them to be a lightweight leave-in, which I personally love that. I use a leave-in at least 5 days a week, and then I'll do an overnight treatment every other week, but 1 to 2 times a week as well. So how can you really repair chemically damaged hair? When using hair color, especially when it's permanent, there can be ammonia that really opens the hair shaft. So then therefore that hair dye can be deposited into the deeper layers of the hair. There are ammonia-free formulations that as well, but industry studies have actually found that they are just harmful to your hair. So even if it's not formulated with ammonia, which we've all smelled that before, is pretty intense on the hair strand. Your hair is really going to get that damage whenever you're, even doing semi-permanent hair dyes as well. Really just coloring the hair. Can have a drying effect to the hair. And then also it can really make your hair really porous as a result from these coloring chemicals as well. So here's some tips if you're going to color your hair, how to really get the best benefit of, your hair health and a nice, beautiful color as well. Using a really moisturizing type of rich hair dye as well. There is, certainly conditioning ingredients that can help just kind of repair the hair. But I highly recommend that if you are going in with a hair dye, they may or may not be very moisturizing to the hair strand anyways, but using a bond filter like this is very similar to that of like Olaplex. If you've heard of Olaplex, it's used in a lot of formulations as like an added on treatment in your chemical processing. So it really helps just protect and prevent against breakage, especially when you're doing bleaching. So just infusing a little bit of this cream goes such a long way, especially when it comes to replenishing the hair of those smart proteins that really are able to deliver those nutrients in those deeper layers of the hair that's so needed. For gray hairs, especially too, you may need to look for a more permanent type of formulation. You can try semi or demi-permanent as well. It will fade faster, but it is really less harsh than those permanent hair dyes doing on a consistent basis as well. Also, just at home, just to, really avoid that further damage, just try to target the roots, every month or so. And then every other month you can go ahead and really refresh the ends of the hair. Just then, therefore, you're not constantly using these harsh chemicals every month on your hair because they can do a lot of damage. So when possible, just reapply the dye directly to the roots to really minimize that chemical exposure that your hair is really experiencing as well. And like major hair color changes can really cause some serious harm, including, hair breakage, hair loss, like we were talking about when done wrong. So you want to be making sure, especially when it's like the harsh chemicals, perming or chemically straightening or even bleaching hair, to leave that up to the professionals because they're really going to be the most knowledgeable and then also be able to understand the integrity of this processing of the hair as well. So you want to be making sure, just to recap, choosing the right ingredients in your hair care products, in your regimen, making sure that The hair cuticle, which is our hair's shield for those deeper, more susceptible layers of the hair, is protected, especially to the core of our hair, which is really that cortex is going to become vulnerable, especially when it comes to dyeing your hair with those permanent dyes or also bleach dyes as well. And you want to be making sure that you're really tactical. So if you've gotten bleached treatments done, you're getting a balayage or also foils to really prolong your treatments as well and give your hair a break between each one. So instead of getting your hair touched up maybe every 6 to 8 weeks, try to prolong that to every 10 to 12 weeks. So that's every 3 months. You're really getting an update and just really refreshing the roots and just toning the ends, as well as using a type of color depositing shampoo as well will really help you just prolong the amount of time that you really have to go into the salon as well. And these treatments here are really great. The chemical conflict is really great at preserving hair color as well. So this is really going to be that, not only that strengthening formula to build the bonds back into the hair as they start to break from this chemical processing, but it's also really just going to help maintain the vibrancy of the hair color as well. And when it comes to figuring out, repairing bleach damaged hair, you need to look for treatments that are formulated with active, potent ingredients as well that can help repair the hair of its proteins that it's been stripped of, and really nourishing the hair from the inside out. So try these as like a hair treatment at least 1 to 2 times a week as like a hair mask. We are not like a traditional hair mask. We actually advise to apply it on wet hair so that the hair cuticles are open, and really leaving it in your hair at least 30 minutes to overnight for really maximum benefits. And you can get really innovative with the application of these, either as that in-styling type of lightweight treatment, or you can do that intensive overnight restorative treatment as well. And also chemically processed hair, is typically pretty dry as well. The lipid barrier of the hair cuticle is also compromised. So when your hair is chemically processed, the lipids, which is that protective layer that keeps the hair cuticle smooth and lying flat and keeping the hair really shiny, ends up getting removed. So that can actually make your hair look pretty frizzy and dull. And really to decrease the static also in hair, because that's also kind of a winter hair problem and concern that many of you may be experiencing. This is really going to be a great formulation for you. This is formulated with over a dozen oils, also hyaluronic acid and marine extracts as well, that we're going to help replenish those lost lipids, lipid hydration from those chemical or heat styling type of processes that you might be putting through your hair. So nourish your hair every single day. I personally like to use these as leave-in styling treatments. Here we have pollution assault. So if you're someone who lives in an urban environment, pollutants are really in the air whether you see it or not. There's a lot of dust, debris, smog from exhaust. So a lot of these can really damage the hair. So I use the pollution assault to really smooth and nourish my hair as well. In this like leave-in type of styling reparative treatment as well. It really helps reduce the frizz and also really helps boost shine as well. But if you're someone who's already gotten a lot of breakage from, a lot of this styling as well, you want to be making sure that you're investing in good type of tools. So a really good brush to help just combat the damage. Make sure you're using like a wide tooth comb, and really when you're combing your hair when it's wet, using a wet brush that's designed specifically for wet hair. Think of your hair as really a gentle fabric. You need to be making sure it's not breaking, it's not snapping. We're really trying to keep that hair breakage at a complete minimum, especially when it comes to the heat styling. It just can exacerbate the breakage and also the lack of strength in hair. And just as a great tip, just in general, just try not to brush your hair when it is wet. If you do, absolutely must. I highly recommend actually brushing hair before you take a shower and shampoo and condition your hair. That's a really great way of just keeping tangles at bay. But when your hair is exposed to water, the hair begins to start swelling and stretches from the hair shaft, and this can actually cause that shingle-like cuticle layer to start to lift, and this starts to add stress from brushing in that hair state of hair that your hair is in after shampooing and conditioning, and can cause your hair to break. So brush your hair before washing if at all possible. And if you have to tangle it, just when it's wet, just towel dry so that the hair is not dripping wet, and then just go ahead and apply a leave-in conditioner. I personally like the Sun and Sweat for this purpose. It really helps not only just detangle the hair, it really makes my hair really soft, more manageable, and it's really protecting against that UV damage, especially when I'm taking a shower at the beginning of the morning. I think this is a really great leave-in treatment, as well as the pollution assault. I'll kind of mix the two together. They're kind of like my free radical leave-in styling, repair, and treatments as well. So also heat styling is a major thing, especially when we have our textured hair and we're really having to do a lot of type of styling techniques to keep our hair more manageable. By styling your hair with a lot of heat and all that kind of stuff can actually cause the hair's outer layer, so that's the hair cuticle, to really lift up and releases this moisture within those deeper layers of the hair, and it really leaves the hair strand brittle, dry, rough, and also just damaged. And to tell if your hair is damaged, pull out a hair, or just when you're brushing your hair, pull out one of those hairs as well, and run your fingernail from the root to the end as if you're curling a ribbon, and drop the strand in a glass of water and see if it uncurls. If it doesn't, your hair has lost elasticity. So we'll do one of these in a future live stream as well. But what's critical when you're heat styling your hair is always using a heat protectant in your hair as well. This is really just going to help create that protective barrier over the hair strand. We have hyaluronic acid. We also have over a dozen butters and oils in here, and they're going to coat the hair. So at those high temperatures of your hair strand being under the heat styling, it's going to shield that surface of the hair from really getting damaged, and really also improved hair manageability. We also have sustained frizz protection by 490% after 6 hours in humidity as well. And then also just really kind of keeping your heat styling at a minimum. Try to air dry if at all possible for as long as you can. Really anything you can really do to just help minimize the amount of time that your hair is under heat as well. What can cause water inside to boil is really having your hair under extreme harsh temperatures. And then this can actually cause a blister on the hair strand, which then can rupture. And then this can actually cause some harmful friction. The cuticles begin to fuse together. So you want to be making sure you're avoiding this friction and frizz by wrapping up your hair in a small microfiber towel and keeping that in your hair for as long as possible, or air drying your hair for as long as possible. Also, old heat styling tools are just not, the technology is not as innovative as really helping to keep hair damage at bay. So I highly recommend that if you've had a heat styling tool for like more than 5 years, to get rid of it. The higher the older the appliances, your heat styling tool as well, the higher chance that the temperature gauge has just gone kaput as well. So you really don't know actually if you're cutting down on the heat temperature as well. So try to pick flat irons that are used with ceramic plates, as well as the curling irons as well, to just really help evenly heat up the heat tool as well. And it will just help straighten, curl your hair faster, and it doesn't stick to any one spot, so that one spot of your hair is actually really getting damaged. And we did mention here, shielding your hair from environmental stresses here, shielding your hair from the sun as well by covering up either your hair with a hat, or also UV type of protectant like your SPF you use on your skin. This is really just going to help block out a lot of that UV ray damage, as well as free radicals from coating onto the hair as well, from your environmental situation, whether that is through environmental stresses, if you live in a city, or pollutants and whatnot. So thank you so much to everyone who tuned in on this live stream here, talking about how to repair chemically damaged hair, in addition to a few other little tips and tricks for those of you who may be looking to cut your chemical processing down just a little bit, and just really having your best hair health forward in 2021. So thank you so much to everyone who tuned in on this live stream. If you're curious to learn a little bit more about Save Me From, check out our website at savemefrom.com. We have over a dozen, or actually probably over 100 articles really just talking about different hair. We also are a company that is mission-based. So we actually raise awareness for suicide prevention, all year long, but we also donate 10% of our net income to foundations working to end suicide as well. So definitely support companies that are really giving back this year, that not only give back to a cause, but also to your hair health as well. So that is a win-win. Thank you so much, everyone who tuned in, and we'll see you on the next live stream. Bye.